I love that riff right there. Reminds me of Johnny Cash. I'm Johnny Cash's little brother, by the way. Did you know that? Petty Cash. Johnny Cash, I'm a fan somewhat. And I'll tell you why, because I listened to Johnny Cash when I was a little kid. He was around, playing on the radio and stuff when I was a little kid, and his Man in Black and all that stuff. But Johnny Cash was somewhat of a rascal in his early years, to say the least. He was quite the sinner, kind of like you and me, maybe a little worse. But, he knew it, and he knew that he had this battle. Johnny Cash was known as saying, sometimes I feel like I'm two people. Johnny, he's the nice one. Cash, he causes all the trouble, and they fight. Johnny fights Cash. And I think that's funny because he really, whether he knew it or not, was saying something that the Bible teaches. Paul the Apostle talks about the war of the flesh and the spirit. He says in Galatians chapter 5, verse 16, he says, "This I say, walk in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." And then he talks about that war of the flesh and the spirit. He says, "For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one another, so that you can't do the things that you want to do." And then he says, "But if you would be led by the Spirit, you're not under the law." What's the law have to do with the war against the flesh and the spirit? Well, some of us try to keep the good things and do the right things by, just legalism. I'm going to make myself be good, and, it's the rules of the law. But that's not the way to do it. You'll lose every time. And Paul even talked about, I don't do the things I do want to do, and I do the things I don't want to do. He knew what the struggle was. But the answer is there in Galatians 5:16. He said, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." So if you're walking today and you're kind of wrestling with stuff, that bad attitudes or actions or sinful stuff, man, ask the Lord to fill you with His Spirit, that your spirit will walk with Him, and He'll give you strength for the day. Don't just try to legalize your way. I'm going to just do it by pulling myself up by the bootstraps. But instead of doing that, say, I'm going to choose to, ask the Lord to have Him fill me afresh with His Holy Spirit, and so that I might walk in the Spirit and not fulfill the lust of the flesh. It's a battle. It's a war. And unless you know it's a war or battle, you're gonna lose. So let's fight the good fight of faith and walk in the Spirit and not fulfill the lust of the flesh today. And that's your little daily Devo for the day. Next time you hear listen to Johnny Cash, maybe you can remember that he was the guy who fought that fight. Now he's in heaven, just like you and me someday. So may the Lord bless you, and we'll see you next time.